listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm getting down with Emily Dean and Alan Cocker.
Hurry up and add that bit.
Yeah. You can text our little show on 81215, 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
I think we're all looking forward to some fun text-ins, aren't we?
Yes.
You know, we're good at that.
That sounds like a Radio 1. It's absolutely fun-textic this morning. We're having a fun-textic time.
We've had a
Shall
lot
we start saying that when we have a fun text?
Yeah, I'm going to adopt
Write it down, will you?
Yeah.
Fun-textic. It's something, as you say it, but spell it as you say it.
Okay.
I like that you urge us to write it down, because it's not often I get asked that, and I miss it, Frank.
Oh.
I like to write things.
I didn't write it at first because you said that somebody else had done it, and I thought...
No, that someone else wouldn't have done it, because when I was listening, they didn't have texts when I was listening to Radio 1.
Good point.
I'm going to write it down. Fun-textic. It's absolutely brilliant.
I was more of a Caroline girl myself.
Was she really?
No, I wasn't. That was before my time. I used to listen to something called Laser Radio.
Laser?
Yeah. Anyway, you're looking shocked.
Did it
was
evolve?
a pirate radio.
Okay.
It was a pirate radio
Did it
station.
use the radio as part of its laser as part of its broadcasting?
No, I don't think so. But lasers were trendy back then. They thought it was all the world of the future, wasn't it? Silver dresses, laser radio.
The reason I can never have laser eye surgery is I can't shrug off its proximity to Sean Connery's crotch in Goldfinger.
Yeah.
When it's burning through metal plate. You going to put that in your eye? I don't think so.
Yeah. It's surprising that so many people don't have that reaction to it, because I see that as totally understandable, what you just said. But lots of people go for that.
A lot of people alive now haven't seen Goldfinger.
That's maybe it.
We've had some missives, actually.
Have we?
We've had a couple of whatever happened to. I don't know if you feel it's too early in the proceedings.
No, for new readers, we occasionally have... well, I use that. Shall we try? I'll try one, I'll do the jingle. Give them the benefit of the doubt, and then you do it. Okay, here we go.
Whatever happened to...
Tyre swings.
Oh.
Tyre swings. I believe that the simian world still use them, don't they? And the great apes.
Well, not all of us are as friendly with them. I mean, you've had such unique bonds with some of them.
Yeah.
But they love a tyre swing. But you don't see them in playgrounds so much.
No, that's from Connor on Twitter, by the way. So thanks for that. But I don't know if Frank's going to let you have that.
Well, the thing I miss most in the children's playground is the witch's hat. Do you remember that?
The witches.
Oh, yes, I still love
It
the
used to be a big cone thing that used to be suspended on this big... the point used to sit on this big pole.
It was so perilous.
And, yeah, I think if you get one really swinging, they used to come off the pole and this enormous metal cone would go spinning across the playground on a good night.
Yeah.
Like I've seen kids go right over the top on swings. Go right...
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
We've also had a whatever happened to that. I'm not sure it's... well, we'll see. Let's see what you think.
Do you want the jingle again?
Yeah, if you like.
Whatever happened to...
Idiot boy racers. Hello, Lecoq Sportif, Pearl and Dean, per Francesco Skinner. After having a boring day stuck indoors avoiding the rain, I headed out to take the dog out with my mum in the evening sun. Halfway through the walk, suddenly there was 2 cars with their car horns blaring out for about 5 seconds and lots of shouting. Quite surprised at the noise, I said to my mum, what on earth is their problem? To which she said, just some idiot boy racers. And then he started to sing the jingle, whatever happened to.
Yeah. Oh, good, I'm glad it's being used.
I think they're still alive and well in the provinces.
Yes, but I don't think they're called idiot boy racers. It's a bit like yobbos.
I don't remember the idiot boy racers. I just remember boy racers is what we call them.
What about
Mensa
hooligans?
boy racers.
I remember I was on tour and me and the support act and the tour manager were walking. Let me guess, we were in Stockton and some boy racer types screeched to walk next to us, shouted gay boys out the window and then drove off.
Well...
I was just happy we were that well dressed.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So someone's remembered Laser Radio, which has made me very happy. I mean, I shouldn't be advertising other radio stations.
Does it
This
still
one did close down in
Probably not
1988.
Oh, that's probably all right then.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to mention other radio stations. I was trying to be a bit derisive, if I do, but
Yeah.
this obviously means a lot to you,
It
nostalgia-wise.
really does. Good morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. That's not me. This is Russ Payne, who says, "Oh my God, I thought I was the only person to ever listen to Laser 558. They used to broadcast from the MV communicator out in the North Sea. Thank you, Emily. You've made my weekend, not the only one."
It's interesting how those things in life when you honestly think it might just have been you. Or
Yeah.
you get to an age where you start to think, have I imagined that happened?
Oh, yeah.
Like Mark Saber, the one-armed detective. I've never met anyone else who remembers that show.
I don't know that either. And because I think you're one of your funny lies.
Yeah, I think it... No, I think it... maybe I just... it was that night I tried absinthe.
There is a slight j'accuse of you maybe being up to one of your funny lies.
Hold on a minute.
Can we have a section called Frank's Funny Lies?
No, I don't. I never lie.
275. OK, well, let's test this.
For
275.
comedy purposes, you
275
exaggerate.
has texted. Not to say that Frank is lying, but, they are. But doing a 360-degree rotation on a swing is physically impossible. To generate that amount of centripetal force, nah.
Wow.
To overcome gravity would require some sort of crane. Maybe in Birmingham they had.
No, what you see, why he's got that, because he hasn't seen the phenomenon, it doesn't do the
No,
full
no, no.
swing.
He hasn't seen
When
it
it gets to the top of the arc, it just drops.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So what he's got to picture, I suppose if you could see, if you had one of those heat things that showed the swing of the chained swing, it'd look like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Because it goes up and then it drops. It doesn't completely... These people, scientists, they think they know everything.
Yeah, but have they had a good play out in a playground properly? Evidently
of course
not.
not, because they were the kids in the glasses.
Doing their homework,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Junior lab coat.
Let's not get
Exactly,
anti-science.
I love a kid in a junior lab coat.
Whatever happened to junior lab coats? That'd be a good one. I've got a bit of a cold.
You're
Oh,
right.
Frank.
I tell you what, I tried doing my pterodactyl impression yesterday, and it was, you got a bit of a cold. You do a pterodactyl, you got a bit of a cold. You really feel it in your throat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
It did occur to me. I'm gonna have it. I'll try it just for the sake of a bit. I usually go a bit higher than that.
Yeah.
For years, when I did it yesterday, for years I've been confident that that's a pterodactyl impression. But of course, the evidence. I mean, there's more evidence for the swing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
But who knows what a pterodactyl? I've got that from Ray Harryhausen or someone like that.
Right.
Well, exactly.
Who's that?
You got that from a 50s idea
He
of
made
the
those
pterodactyl.
films with like Jason the Argonauts and stuff.
And there was always a lady in a furry bikini being taken off a cliff, being picked up by the dinosaur.
Those are the days. Of course, you couldn't do that now. Yeah, because it had to be faux fur
Yeah.
for a start off. Then it'd have to be a gilet. Hey? And then it'd have to be a bloke in one as well.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can't say anything about Cliff anymore. Anyway, so...
That is a fact.
Yeah. So, I'd like to... I mean, maybe...
Hurry up.
Maybe it went...
The pterodactyl.
like that.
I liked your...
Like Frank Spencer.
Yeah. We don't
Frank
know.
Spencer of the
It
dinosaur.
might have just hummed.
I like the concept of the
Barry White.
pterodactyl getting into a little bit of trouble.
There's a slight sort of a flesh-like beret on top of the head of the pterodactyl.
Is that a sequel to a kind of hush all over the world?
This is a flesh-like beret all over the pterodactyl's head. Tonight, all over the pterodactyl's head. Anyway, if you know what a pterodactyl... No, you won't. Don't text that in. I mean, for example, Henry VIII. What I could say, I can do a brilliant impression of Henry VIII.
Oh, go on. Oh, hang on, let me prepare myself.
Pass the apple crumble, will you? You pass the apple crumble, please. Because he probably had, like, Spanish and French teachers, tutors and
It
stuff.
didn't sound like that.
We don't know.
But it
we
wouldn't have
don't
been
know.
apple crumble, would it?
I think I'll maybe have a reformation. I think, yeah.
Always the Reformation
For
with
all
you,
you
isn't it?
know, that is the best Henry VIII impression anyone's ever done since everyone died who could remember what he sounded like.
Absolute Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were discussing. I've no idea what we were discussing.
I'll tell you. We were discussing Emily's...
Henry VIII's.
Oh, yeah, you were doing your
You did a
impression.
quite extraordinary impression of Henry VIII.
You did. But prior to that, we were actually discussing Emily's listening to Laser 558.
Yeah.
And Alan Dupre from Manchester.
Oh, Jacqueline's brother.
Made up name, maybe? Might be a funny
No.
name, might not be.
I don't.
The
I don't
cellist,
think so.
Jacqueline. He might be
I
related.
like
Yeah.
it. It's different. Hey.
It's the most. Is it the most northern, sensible, basic bloke Alan's ever been? Dupre. That can't be a real name, can it?
No, I think
Oh, there's
talking
four
about?
look.
it's a nice name. I
I'm
like it.
assuming it is a real name.
Hey, I used to listen to Laser 558 and I even bought a record they released called I Spy for the BPI or similar.
It wasn't BPI. I think it was DTI, which is that Department of Trade and Industry or something.
Oh.
Anyway,
Love it.
yeah, it was a great record.
Was it?
Yeah.
Good.
Do you remember Life FM? I think they were called.
Live. Oh,
No, but
Live.
exactly. I think the only reason they called it that is because they couldn't afford to make their own jingle, so they just used Life, ooh, Life, ooh, Life, which is one of the best topics for a song ever.
Yeah.
It's
Life.
almost as good
Life.
as Mariah Carey's Emotions.
Do you
Oh,
think
it's not-
everyone can identify with
What
it?
about feeling? I mean, these are broad
Broad
topics.
topics.
Very, very
Mariah
broad.
even says, "You got me feeling emotions."
Yeah.
I mean,
come on.
life, you got to narrow it down a bit. You need something like Buff the
No.
Magic Dragon. You got something to hold on to.
They're looking at it and thinking, well, if we can get everyone that's experienced what this song's about, that is a lot of units we're going to shift.
But that's what it is. It's breadth
Yeah.
of appeal.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people see Puff the Magic Dragon and think, oh, I'm not
I
sure
haven't got
about...
one. Everyone's got a life.
Yeah, I've never seen a dragon. I'm not sure about magic, and I
Yeah.
don't like the sort of the asthmatic nature of the name.
It's a real
Yeah.
shame because I was going to call my Edinburgh show this year jokes about life. Now I feel
Were
like
you?
I've excluded a whole load of potential audience members.
Yeah, and also
No.
a lot of people love jokes about death. They're not going to come. You've alienated that whole section. No, I would stick to life. Ooh, life. Ooh. See, if it had been, say, knife, ooh,
Yeah.
knife, then you'd have thought, oh, okay, it's cutlery based.
Not a lot of
Yeah.
cutlery-based music.
Very
stuff.
few.
No.
Or wife.
Wife, yeah.
Yeah, Take My Wife.
That's another love song, though. It's actually not necessarily a love song, it's probably a story of love gone wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
shame, really, that there aren't songs about cutlery when people do legitimately play the spoons.
You're right.
I mean, that
Do
could
people actually do that?
be... Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
I can get a tune, well, not a tune, but I can get a bit of a syncopation out the spoons.
I know, I'm sure you can, but you don't need to, surely, anymore. You're doing so
Sylvester
well.
McCoy, in his role as the Doctor, played the spoons. Okay.
You watch Doctor Who?
I do watch Doctor Who occasionally. I find it to be very invigorating. I'll tell you, I'll be watching it tonight. What about this for...
Oh, is it back on?
No, tailor-made for me. Doctor Who tonight features the Pope. I mean, come on!
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, I tell you what I did. I attended what I'm going to call a football dinner at the weekend.
Oh, hi,
You know, a
Nash.
football dinner, people
Football
stand
dinner.
up, say
Yeah.
comical
Oh, like a
things.
black tie
And then you
thing.
all eat a football.
It wasn't actually black tie. It was a bit more... we didn't need football. It
Lounge
was-
suits.
Yeah, lounge suits,
Oh,
mainly.
yeah.
I wore a lounge suit. I didn't a shoot. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
As the producer's answer machine message for new
Is it still your
readers.
answer? It's defiantly sticking with soon
Frank
as you
pointed
can.
out to her not long ago that her message said, leave a
Who's
message.
her? The cat's mother?
Yes, I'm the one being abusive. Saying, I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Yes. Anyway, it was hosted by Duncan McKenzie. Do you remember him?
Oh, yes. I do know him.
Yeah, he was a very fine footballer, but whenever he's mentioned in footballing circles, it is not his football which comes up first. It's the fact that he could jump over a
Yes.
mini.
He didn't play for
Wow.
Everton, did he?
He did play for Everton. That was
Good
one of his
knowledge, Em.
teams.
Thank you.
Yeah. well,
Yes, I do remember that, Frank, because my friend Scouse Tony is an Everton fan, and he's got big pictures of that.
Yes,
everywhere.
Yeah, well, he was he arrived with posters of himself jumping over a mini at Leeds United, which were £5 each.
£5, not bad.
He used to get people would bet him a fiver he couldn't do it. Apparently, when he started in football, and he said he made more for the first 2 years. He was making more money out of jumping over minis than he was playing professional football. But
He was Evel Knievel.
Yes, when you see the picture, he bundles himself into a tiny ball as he flies over the roof. I'm not talking about the bonnet, I'm talking about the roof.
And was this post his mid-football career?
No, it's sort of from the beginning.
You wouldn't get the insurance for that now, would you?
He had one other...
run-up.
his other distinctive thing is he could stand at one end of Leeds United's ground and he could throw a golf ball that then didn't land till it hit the other end. He was measured 140 yards throwing a golf ball.
He sounds like some athlete, this
He
guy,
will,
this character.
I'll say. I mean, if they'd had a major athletics event based on the Italian job, he would have been famous.
Oh, shoe-in.
So was the event shoe?
They should
Shoe-in, that's what
They
they
should
say.
do
innit?
that. So there's sort of a sort
They
of
say
a,
that.
I'll get back to you as shoe-in as I can.
Yeah.
They should have, just to spice up athletics, they should have them based on, films and...
What
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
when Daisy eschews dessert?
Oh, lovely.
I mean, that gets complicated. Yeah.
What
no,
about the 101 metres, with each
Yeah.
metre marked by a different Dalmatian at the side of the track?
That'd
Oh,
be
I'd
good
love that.
fun.
I'd love to watch that. 'Cause imagine trying to keep them in control.
Oh,
So who else was in it? Well, I'm good at that, as you know.
Sir Geoff Hurst was there.
Shut up.
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
And Gordon Banks. Banks of
a lot
England.
of people,
Yeah.
Banks of England.
And
nice.
very excitingly, Paul Trevelyan was there.
Oh.
Now, do you know who Paul
No,
Trevelyan
I
is?
don't, I'm afraid.
Well, let me try and jog your memory a bit. Do you remember there used to be a thing? And
What happened to you there?
It was
We
a
got a bit Henry VIII impression.
It was a comic tell the monasteries they're going to go to close them down. No, that
Still
was
not forgiven him, have you? You've
No,
still not
no.
forgiven him.
I
I'll
like
have to
that
forgive
he's
him.
humanised the monasteries. Tell the monasteries.
So Paul Trevelyan is an artist, particularly a comic artist, and he did a thing called "You Are the Ref," and it would be
really?
a short comic strip in which you're faced with a dilemma of football rules,
Oh, excellent.
Right.
and then you had to, or cricket he did as well. You are the umpire,
Oh, he didn't stop at football.
but he's a very interesting man. He's 83 now.
Wow.
He's a previous. I'll tell you on the Leeds United. I know we don't normally talk about football, but I'm not talking about football in a football-y way.
No.
Leeds United in the 70s had this thing where they had sock tags. So they had little like garters that they wore, sort of thing Henry VIII might have worn, in fact. Yeah, they're a little bit tight around their calves. And they had their numbers on, and they took. Do you remember them, Al?
I know what you
Really?
mean.
I
Yeah.
don't
It was like a
know.
fashion. They were designed by Paul Trevelyan.
No.
Really?
He was also.
If anyone must have seen them up close, it would have been me.
He was.
Wow.
He was a world record speed kisser at one point.
No.
You got some with man crush on him.
Well, he's a-
Mention-itis, Paul
He's a pretty
Trevelyan
amazing
this.
bloke. But let me tell you what he did on the night. Well, first of all, he signed one of his pieces of art for me, and he wrote.
Is that what they call it?
He said to Frank, "Top funny man." Paul Trevelyan. I thought that'll do me.
Yeah.
That will do moi. And then he got on stage and he had an easel on stage. Now I love a bit of
Oh,
art on stage as a
Yeah.
cabaret act.
Oh,
Great.
yeah.
Do you remember
You like
quick on the Draw?
Yes.
yes. Did he work? Did he work quick? Did he?
Well, he talks you through it. So he's got a drawing he's already done of an elephant,
Right.
All right.
and he says this is the Pelly elephant. And then he does a bit of drawing here, just a little bit there, turns it round. It's Pele.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, come on.
He's put
Come on.
He's put a twist on it.
Oh, man, I loved it. The Pelly elephant. You can't go wrong with that, can you? So this morning's texting, what's the strangest stage act you've ever seen? And we'll come back to that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I used to, it was about 6 of us, we sold hearing aids door to door, and we used to be known as the A team, as in A? But it was a short-term profession for
You
me.
didn't stay in it?
No. No one ever answered the door who needed one.
Yeah, you had a lot of other irons in the fire as well, though, didn't you?
I had a few.
Several
He
businesses.
had some
haven't you?
mangles as well. He had all sorts.
Yeah.
What else happened at this football dinner then?
Well, that happened. I was talking about strange acts, though.
I've not had any. Nobody's
No.
ever seen a strange act.
The thing that... there was an act... when I was on tour a couple of years ago, there was an act touring where a bloke contacted the spirit world,
Oh, yeah.
the world of spirits,
There's a lot of that about.
and his wife did a drawing of the spirit that he'd contacted.
Oh,
Wow.
And that'd be worth seeing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope she doesn't draw everyone with a sheet,
yeah.
arms extended in a sheet.
And black Reeboks underneath.
Maybe that's all she changes. She has like period shoes underneath.
'Cause
So
we
she
have
calls up
talked-
somebody from Tudor times. There's like, those sort of weird medieval slipper things that you get.
Yeah, it's very self-confident of her as an artist, isn't it? Like, she's
Well, I mean,
utterly convinced that the spirit
many
she's going to
people-
see, she
no one's
can commit to paper.
No one's going to pull her up on the likeness, apart from him. He'd say, I think you got the nose a bit right on that one. Hey, what kind of supportive partner would that be?
Yeah.
The Iceman, people, I've worked with the Iceman.
The Iceman.
He used to wheel on a metal trolley an enormous lump of ice.
Oh,
And then
I've
he'd do
seen him.
a 20-minute act in which he melted it. He told
Did he? I think I saw him on a show, and he came on saying, "I just thought I'd break the ice," and then he destroyed the ice, and then did.
I don't remember him being that funny. He used to melt it with a blowtorch, and he used to tell stories about his life. Who life?
Wide appeal, life
The life
stuff.
man, he should have been called, looking back.
Yeah.
Oh, that might make him sound like a prisoner.
Anyway,
Whatever happened to...
people asking you the time.
Oh, yeah, that's gone.
No one ever. When's the last time you asked someone in the street the time? Excuse me, mate, you got the time?
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because I left my mobile phone at home recently, and I didn't have my watch.
Gasp.
And I was taking the dog out for a walk, and I needed to know the time because I'm a busy woman. I had appointments.
If
and I
only it
thought,
was a watchdog.
oh, lovely,
Very
Frank,
good.
lovely. And I thought, I can't ask someone because there were a few men, and I thought this is going to look like I'm hitting on them. It's too
Yeah.
embarrassing. So you're right. I think it has absolutely died out. That
Well, you know,
what,
my dad.
What did you do? What did you do? I'm curious. Just went straight
I
back
just trusted my intuition,
home. Oh.
which it turns out is always right.
I find with a poppy, if you turn them upside down, you can use their private parts as a sundial.
Good system.
That's what those dots for.
Mine's,
You know those.
mine's
Like,
somewhat on the small side, I'm afraid.
well, that's all right. Obviously, you can.
When I was a child, well, not child, I used to have a paper round, and I'd quite often have no wristwatch for that. And if I thought I was running late, I would think, how am I going to check the time?
Yeah.
And my little trick for it was to look into cars where they've got a clock.
Oh.
But I now realise that
You
they
can't
would
do that.
they would spend half of the year being an hour too fast or an hour too slow, because that's how most people's cars
Oh yeah,
are.
I've
aren't they?
never ever changed the clock in my car.
Yeah, who does? So
I can do that. I can do that kind of mental arithmetic. Not too much.
yeah, if it's only 6 months of the year, isn't it? You can just learn it.
I've got a my sat nav. I look at that and it says estimated time of arrival. I think, it's a lot nearer than I thought. Never put it forward. No, a mate told me that he was on New Street Station in Birmingham, and he asked. Now at the time we would have said a tramp,
Right.
but I don't think you can say that anymore. So he asked.
My father used to call them gentlemen of the road.
Well, he asked a similar character. He said he's running for a train, he's in a slight panic, and he said to him, "You got the time, mate?" And the tramp bloke said, "I don't operate on a chronological system." That is brilliant.
Yes.
But who would ask such a person the time? It seems
Well, I like it. You know
wrong.
why? Because that gentleman of the road, I feel a tremendous fondness for him because he's a bit of a git.
Yeah, well,
Excellent.
In the most fabulous way.
And with a lovely turn of phrase,
yeah,
might we all
that's
just
what Frank would
doff
say,
our
and that
caps?
suits you.
I was in a cafe once in Harborne in Birmingham, and there was a similar gentleman of the road, stroke tramp, stroke homeless,
Yeah.
itinerant hobo man. And a bloke come in a sheepskin jacket and said, he said to him, "Mate, have you got a blue Mondeo?" And he said, "No, I haven't. No." He said, "Okay, yeah, somebody else." What are you thinking of?
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website, if you will.
You were talking about strangest stage act people have ever seen.
Yes.
And 443 has been in touch to say, years ago, whilst on holiday in Tenerife, we watched a woman showing us the many ways you can tie a sarong. It lasted about an hour and a half.
And I'd like to thank 443, because when you said strange stage acts, I had completely forgotten. I for a moment thought, I haven't seen any. But now there's a whole subset of stage acts you see on holiday, and I think they're a different category
Yes.
altogether. People bringing out like a parrot that pushes along a little wire thing, and what is that? Like, why am I watching that on my holiday?
Oh, I love all stuff like that.
Well, Peter has been in touch. A strange act that reminded me of starting university in 1971. One of our welcoming events involved a wardrobe being carried into the middle of the audience, whereupon a man broke out from the wardrobe by means of an axe, cutting the wood with splinters flying everywhere. I don't think any of us will ever forget this. I doubt it would be allowed now. That's from Pete.
Said I wouldn't let you do it now.
No, you're right. Health and safety gone mad.
Oh, health
And
and
look at the
safety.
entertainment we've lost out on.
Or they would have spoiled it by saying, all right, you're allowed to do it, but everybody in the audience has to have
We'd have
those
goggles.
plastic glasses on.
Yeah.
And then you distribute them and they all know something's going to happen. That's,
And a lab
you know,
coat.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous world, isn't it?
Lenny Bruce, the legendary American stand-up, said that when he first started doing, there was a bloke on that circuit who used to come on in full evening dress with a step ladder. It's about 10 feet high. No, probably not that high, probably 8 feet high. And he used to set that up on stage, and then he'd jump, he'd climb to the top, put his hands behind his back, jump off and land on his head without stopping. Then he'd get up a little bit staggered, take a bow, and that would be his act. But they said he always got bookings. That was the act everyone talked about after.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, you know, you've got to get that right.
I mean, your stand-up comic who does 20 minutes a night feels like he's on a bit of a result for not having a long working day, but a guy who just jumps off a ladder and lands on his head.
Oh, no,
How long's that? 90 seconds maximum? Brilliant.
Yeah.
But I paid to see that. Anyway,
Yeah, but you paid to see a puppet show in Edinburgh once with me.
I love a puppet show.
I said, "Oh, we're going to a puppet show." I went, "Oh." I actually didn't mind it, Frank. It wasn't that.
love a
It wasn't
puppet
that
show.
bad, really.
I like mime as well.
Oh, mine's good. Yeah, yeah. Clown,
Not
physical
so good.
theatre.
Oh, what
I like all that
what
stuff.
about this? What about this for mime? Pretty good. Pretty good, eh?
Very good.
Didn't see that coming.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
I need to share something with you this morning, which is to do with Victoria Beckham, who I'm a massive fan of her work. And it can be called work now. I'm not sure it could have always been the case, but she's a very decent designer.
They work those pop stars.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
That's
God.
true.
They
I know,
work
but
them.
there is a lot of turning up to do with that job.
There's a lot
whereas
of turning up.
There's a lot more creativity.
Can I ask you about that then before we move on? And are you still in the fashion industry, or is it?
You never leave, darling.
Okay, but you're not professionally involved. Is that true? Is there such a thing as a ghost designer, a bit like a ghost writer.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And
A creative consultant, we call it.
oh, okay.
Yes, there's a bit like, in TV you have
Program associate.
program associates
associates
who
who are-
basically are writing the material for the on-screen talent.
Yes.
Not in your case
Not
or in
Frank.
yours, Al.
Not mine.
Not Alan
Not
either.
Frank.
I'm not on telly.
You have been.
on
Put yourself
occasion.
down. We'll do that. We'll do that.
But
Sorry, Frank. So creative consultant in the
You know
fashion
where
industry,
I'm
yes,
going with
I know
this.
where you're going. You're suggesting that is that
I'm
the
not
case?
suggesting. I'm asking. I don't know. I'd like to.
Well-
I'd like to believe. I'd
Yes.
like to imagine her sitting next to a sketchbook,
Mm.
doing those sweeping, flowing fashion drawings that you see
Yes.
at other bases, which I've always loved.
Yeah.
Up there, right up there with the court artists.
Yes.
I haven't seen her etchings personally.
No,
However,
I went
I've
to see her
heard-
etchings in a cosy little flat.
I don't know how good she is actually at art in the way that your Kath, for example, is a very fine artist.
Yes.
I can't imagine her doing etchings like that.
But is she saying stuff like that epaulette? I don't like. Does it need
Yes.
to be pointy? The
Yes,
epaulette
she
could it have a
is.
Yeah.
curvature? She's
Right.
saying stuff
Well,
like
look,
that.
I would say that to you on a daily basis. You don't find that hard to believe.
I'm just trying to. She's a myth to me, Posh.
BB.
I'm still calling her
love,
Posh.
can I just
Spice.
say I love an epaulette, so I'm
Do you?
happy that they've been mentioned. Yeah. Oh,
I
love them.
She's come out with some
I,
very...
as you know, I breed parrots, and I find they get the claws caught in epaulettes.
Well, you do love your hobby, so
I do.
She's come
stick
out
with
with
it.
a wonderful piece of advice, though. She says that when she looks tired, she puts sunglasses on. She doesn't wear them to look trendy or cool or chic. She does it to hide what she calls a multitude of sins. And it's
Yeah.
an anti-tiredness hack.
Frank seems unconvinced.
Well,
Over to you, Frank
This is the
Skinner.
bloke who got 17 free pairs of sunglasses, so there
Jeff
is the
Brazier-
chance that he's
Jeff Brazier
practiced
got
this
9.
theory.
but I'm still a bit. I'm very self-conscious about sunglasses unless it's a glaringly
Are
sunny
you DJ
day.
Skepta about this?
I am a bit, because I do think people wear them to look cool, though. It's a showbiz. It's one of the
Well,
naffy showbiz
I'd like
things.
to say I wear sunglasses and I very much wear them to look cool.
All right.
That's the only
Okay.
reason I would wear them.
Well, but you're not denying it.
No, I'm not. I'm
You're not saying
utterly-
it's a
She's-
tiredness hack.
Yeah, I think she was saying that. And also, I share some of your cynicism, Frank, and I bring some of my own because
Oh, good.
I think she said, I wear sunglasses to hide a multitude of sins at the launch of her sunglasses brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think she might have been going, hey,
And I
don't
think-
just wear them when it's sunny, wear them when you're tired as
sun-
well.
And a new fragrance, which is called A Multitude of Sins.
MOS. But they're very anti-aging sunglasses.
Are they?
Well,
And this is
everybody
why I
looks,
like them.
everybody looks good in
You
sunglasses.
can't look bad in them.
I saw a picture of the Elephant Man in a pair of Ray-Bans.
Wraparounds.
Actually, I think they were Reactor-like Rapids. And he looked pretty good. He had, yeah.
If I may bring my own experience into this, I was at the petrol station the other day and I was approached by a man. I don't think I've ever looked worse. I had my hair in a top knot. No, it wasn't good. It wasn't. It was like a sort of minor Coronation Street character. I wasn't
Yeah.
looking my best. No makeup, terrible clothes. And because I had the
Don't believe that.
sunglasses on, he came over. He said, may I just say how lovely you look?
Did he?
He did. I was on the way to Daisy Producers to watch your Eurovision Song Contest. He said, may I just say how lovely you look? I said, thank you so much. I was quite friendly, but then and then he started asking for things and I thought I'd better make my excuses and leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's
but what
a
I'm
forward
saying
character, isn't he?
he was, yeah.
I'd never do that at a petrol
On the
station.
pull at the services.
But
Oh,
also,
no.
there was one
Amazing.
point when he was loitering over my bonnet. And
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
like that.
What were you?
Very
You were wearing a bonnet?
Like Bramwell.
I like the
And
idea.
sunglasses. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
you
if I
didn't
had-
mention.
Were
You
in
didn't mention
disguise?
you were dressed as Jane Austen.
Do you like her puddle dart?
Jane Austen A40, as she's known at the services. Oh, it's gone very strange, this. Well, there you go, anyway. Makeup, girls, you don't need it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, we were talking about VB
Indeed.
and her shades and the multitude of sins.
Yes.
yeah.
But she also said that she uses, was it bucket loads of concealer?
Yeah,
That's her other tip for avoiding looking tired. I mean, they're quite route one, the tips, I'm not going to lie.
I do like the word concealer, though.
Yeah.
I think it upfronts the sort of cloak and dagger element of makeup.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because it's absolutely what it says on the tin. It's there to hide behind.
I wear a lot of concealer, actually.
Oh, do you?
Camouflage. Yeah.
Oh, pterodactyl. There's another one.
Do you think that's what the military are doing when they put on camouflage? They are concealing, aren't they?
I suppose okay, I've gone with it. I've already gone with it. You don't have to drag me.
Don't have to drag it out. Well, all right, Alan, you made your joke.
I mean, it's like some scene out of Ben-Hur, you're being so dragged, Frank.
What's the difference between concealer and foundation?
Oh, this is like the strangest act you've ever seen. Me on the stage answering that question for 90 minutes. Okay.
I'd pay.
See, I think a foundation has been like a backdrop for other makeup that you're going to put on, if you know what I mean.
100. So if
support
you think
and
of
structure.
foundation as your base,
Yes.
and then your concealer is the sort of the tambourine of the band, if you like, pepping it up. Concealer is specifically for under eye areas, and I'm not going to dress this up for spots.
I'm glad you've mentioned under eye areas because I've got someone gave me some eye gel.
Right.
I don't know what the hell. Do I put it in my eye? I've asked myself.
You rub
Don't put
it
it in your eye.
underneath the eye area.
Well, it's a bit of a... They shouldn't call it eye gel. I thought it would give my eyes a bit of a sparkle.
And other topics I thought I'd never be discussing with Frank Skinner. But don't put it
into your
inside,
eyes.
darling.
that
No.
sounds-
Just underneath.
Well, they should be clearer about that. Don't call it eye gel.
Most people know.
Clear eye gel.
Most people kind of know that you don't put it in your eye.
So I put it under my eyes to get rid of the bags.
All around the general eye area.
Oh,
Because
God, I wonder what he's going to say then. Oh, it's that kind of eye gel, is it? Okay, I haven't tried it yet because of my uncertainty.
you don't really need it. I
I
mean,
know,
you've-
but it's free.
You've taken the youth elixir.
It's free. I'm thinking of using like just one tube for one go.
But her talking about this tiredness, it did make me think. I think the single rudest thing someone can say is, you look tired. I
Well,
cannot abide it.
You see, I
It's-
don't
you know what
mind it.
If someone says to me, you look tired, you know what I say?
What?
I say, no, I'm just old now. This is just my face now.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
like, no.
No, just my face now.
Touching the Ringo start. No, you're all right.
See, I say stuff like, well, you see, I'm so sought after in my profession that
That's good.
I'm doing lots of
That is
work. And
good.
yes, it is exhausting, but I just, I think I just owe the public for me to be there. Good day to you. And that's
I'm
basically
Frank, you know what? I'm having that.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't quite work with me, but
I think that if you've got a good reason to be tired. I remember once someone saying to me I looked tired, and I said, sorry, there was a siege in the flat above last night. And it was true. It was absolutely true. Now, that, good reasons to be tired. Good reason to be tired, 8, 12, 15. And don't spare me those ones.
oh, come on.
Come on.
Don't go on about that.
Don't spare
that
me.
new
No
man you
text
met.
from legends.
Yeah, and I'm not having, just in case our Keith texting, I'm not having night fishing. It's got to be something a bit more zingy.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Victoria Beckham.
Yeah.
Someone said that on the texts, 900 has said, I genuinely misheard buckets of concealer for buckets of tequila. Doesn't sound very VB, does it? I don't think she'd be a buckets of tequila kind of lady.
Apparently, David Beckham
Oh. Do
is...
you know, I
DB.
don't know what it is.
husband.
I actually feel a frisson when the name is mentioned. It's something about the man, everything about the
Gorge,
man.
he's gorge.
I haven't felt a free song since I worked in the dairy industry.
Do you have anyone where you feel that frisson? Obviously,
When their name is mentioned.
yeah, could be a man. It's just a respect or just
I
something
can
lovely.
think of 13 actors.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say Hartnell, Troughton,
Oh,
Pertwee,
Yeah.
Baker,
I knew.
so adorable.
Davison,
I knew.
Yeah.
Baker. McCoy, McGann. No, I'm
Frank,
going to
it's
stop.
disgusting.
No, he's thinking of buying an island for their 20th anniversary.
Oh, yeah, I
Is
read
he?
that.
And there's a few on the list. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, come on.
I mean, if
cool.
I bought Kath an island, I don't know if she'd be that. Oh,
She'd be worried about the Aussies and things.
yeah, exactly. Oh, where do we get there? Is there a road? Oh, no. One of the ones he's looked at, incredibly, let me get this right, it's called Toad Hall Estate in the British Virgin Islands.
Lovely.
That's not where it's not the original home of
No, that must have been
what it was based on.
Norfolk or somewhere, I believe.
I mean, don't get me. Where was Toad Hall? 8, 12, 15. Yeah,
I love a literary texting on a Saturday.
People will know that 'cause it's very popular. If you look at people's favourite books, celebrities, they always say people who don't read
Do they say
always
Wind in
say
the
Wind in the
Willows?
Willows.
Yeah.
And much as I love the book, I've got to say, Great Gatsby. People that have read one book, Catcher in the Rye and Great Gatsby, thank you.
Yes. Well, they're nice, quick books to read.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Didn't we have a chat recently
Not
about
too hard.
quick books that you can really polish off and then make yourself sound like you know quite a lot about
Heart of
literature?
Darkness. Do you remember? Only the other week I was in a Heart of Darkness workshop.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Inadvertently, I might add.
But it reminded me, Necker Island.
Yes.
Oh, is that Richard
owned,
Branson?
owned by Richard Branson, which he got quite cheap, but it cost him 10 million to
Back
make
in the
it.
70s. Oh, I see.
Yeah, it cost him 10 million to make it.
But
Seems
imagine
alright.
going there. I
Fabulous.
really wish I'd cultivated him more.
No, but I think
Because that would have been useful for us, Frank. Nice absolute
Yeah.
holiday.
Yeah.
think Richard Branson. I honestly think this. The reason he bought it in the British Virgin Islands is cut to the Virgin thing.
Yeah.
Yes!
So he spent £10 million on a pond,
That's
and
your
I've
man.
got to respect him for that.
Yeah.
And maybe Necker Island, maybe he's a big fan of the Love Bite.
I think so.
Oh, Frank, can I tell you who you'd also respect? Someone who lives quite near me at number 2B has written in italics, to be or not to be, on the wall of their apartment.
Excellent.
Well, in Chelsea, and I think yes. Anyway, in Chelsea, just by the river, there
Yeah.
used to be two cars parked in a double garage,
Yeah.
and one was called the number plate was 2B,
Oh,
and the other one was not 2B.
Very
that's
good.
classy.
And I went past once; they were parked the wrong way around. It ruined my day.
Just didn't scan.
I mean, make an effort.
Yeah.
Gone to all that trouble.
It's like
Unbelievable.
Anton Deck getting it the wrong way around. You can't do that.
Anton Deck getting it the wrong way around. What a party that was.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We were discussing the Beckhams. I mean, they're a much discussed couple, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've contributed to that over
Yes.
the years. Why not?
Well, I don't know.
I liked it in this article that I read where she said,
Can I just stop you there? Have we asked people for their tiredness hacks?
"Oh, don't
Oh no,
think we have."
that's a good idea.
Should we
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I
we
like
should.
a texting.
Yeah, noticed. Although do be careful about this, because I recently had a conversation with my friend Stuart, and I said to him, "Oh, do you remember that thing you told me years ago that apples wake you up? Like when you eat an apple, apparently it's the quickest you can get kind of sugar energy to your
right?
system or something." He told me in great detail, and he used the phrase, "apples are the lorry driver's friend," right? Apparently lorry drivers put apples on the
I thought it was
passenger.
a chocolate bar.
Yeah, I thought it was a
It
Yorkie.
used to be yours.
I think I even mooted this at the time, like, banter.
still
I thought
buy
it was
those
the
Yorkies?
Yorkie.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Are you actually asking me?
Yorkies.
I've pounded the road from coast to
I
coast.
don't want to know about that.
Yorkie and me. What about big, rich and thick? A milk
Oh,
chocolate
I've dated
brick.
him.
More. Then it was Yorkie's a mighty big mouthful.
Oh.
Turn out it was his colleague. Good night.
Wow.
Oh yes.
But
Anyway.
I tell you
York
what.
is the way the real milk chocolate ought to be. Diddle-diddle-diddle. And then he says, and when I still that big old mill, there's still a lot in store for me.
He stills
in
the
that
mill?
York.
Is that where it went, this song?
Yeah.
He steals
When
the
I
mill.
It's a
still
strange
that big
area.
old mill.
Still the mill.
So
No,
he
I
called
didn't
it.
know there was such a complex narrative arc to his story.
Oh,
I thought it
God,
was just
the
a truck
Yorkie.
driver. I eat a chocolate on the run. I thought it was just that.
No, the old Yorkie thing. It's a narrative tale.
Okay.
It's a specific, not like life.
Or
No.
will
very
there be
specific.
fried onion rings? That
It's
was a
about
whole
the use of a chocolate bar as a companion.
Yeah.
Jean-Paul Sartre sort
Yeah.
of thing.
So anyway, if I may just
Yeah.
just for a moment, just drag us
Sorry,
drag
Gary.
us back to this
I'm
chat
still
that I had with
reeling
Stuart.
now from chocolate bar as a companion.
Yeah. Well,
That's what it was about.
well, apparently it's not. Apparently it's apples. But then I said to Stuart recently, "Oh, remember that thing you told me like 5-6 years ago? Apples are the lorry driver's friend." I've been having apples on the passenger seat when I'm doing nighttime driving. Just munch, wake me up. Boom. And he went, "I've never heard that. I don't know what you're talking about."
Oh, no.
So I've no idea who told me it. So we're going to get some tiredness hacks in. People are going to text us. And then in 5 years' time, we'll be
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, it was 812," and it will have been 218 or something.
Well, I saw Holly Walsh,
Oh yeah.
a big friend of the show,
Yeah.
on my...
She was in Don't Ask Me, Ask Britain with
Oh,
you.
yes,
Did
I
it-
saw
She
her
was
there.
great on
I
it.
saw her there Tuesday night. She's always great. She said to me, "You're looking very slim." I said, "Well, was it not you who said to me, you don't get a six-pack in the gym, you get it in the kitchen?" She said, "I've never heard that." What's that
that's
to
me.
advice?
I think that was me.
I think that was the cockerel.
I'm sure it was Holly Walsh.
Daisy, producer, has just thrown her hat in the ring, a top one, FYI.
Yeah.
And she said it was Holly. She
See?
remembers it.
See? Well, unfortunately, Holly's not on my side. Anyway, but we're all following this advice. It's erroneous.
Yeah.
It's erroneous tosh.
This could be a texting, couldn't it? Who's giving you advice that then
No.
it turned out was not
I
them?
was terrible
I
advice.
don't feel good about it. We could do with another texting. Here's one. Has anyone got any hard evidence that dream catchers work?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Green tea bags can I recommend for anti-tiredness, tiredness hacks.
Is that right?
Traditionally, people,
On your eyes?
Yeah,
Or-
under the
Oh,
eyes.
one of those.
People would put normal tea bags, but the tannin stains are terrible.
Is that
Right.
right?
So
And
just
it-
go for the green tea bag.
Is the theory behind it that the tea bags are so hot you put them on your eyes and you go, "Oh God, I'm really awake"?
No,
Is
no.
that
I
how
believe
it
it's the
works?
caffeine, because that's why people also put rub coffee granules under the eye area.
Do that?
Well,
there are
that's
coffee masks,
interesting
yeah.
because I think the skin of the eyes is susceptible to taking stuff because apparently vitamin C cures bruises. So if you get a black eye, you can put like kiwi fruit or some orange or something on there and it just heals it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, thank you. In westerns, of course, they just used to splash cold water on the face, which I always loved. That people don't do that so much anymore.
I think my mum did the cucumber thing. You know that?
Cucumbers on the eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 70s, isn't it? 70s,
love it.
80s.
Do you think when the Beckhams are having their intimate moments,
Oh
That-
my goodness!
that David Beckham
this time of day.
ever plays his "Oi, both hands" sound file?
Oh wow!
That's a bit of a lark. She's saying, "Oh, put your phone down, will you?" Love to. I find that people love looking tired because then you say you look tired and they say, "Yeah, I'm tired," and then they can tell you, how hard they've been working and how tough they are. I mean, she, in telling us the tiredness hacks that she uses to hide being tired, is telling us how tired she is.
Yeah.
Because she said, "I just got off a 15-hour flight," which says I'm an international businesswoman.
Yeah.
So there's always, someone tells you anything about being tired, there's always some ulterior motive behind it.
And again, at
Yeah.
the risk of sounding cynical, she was launching some sunglasses and some concealer. So it's not,
If someone tells me I look
not that
tired,
She's
complicated.
launching concealer as well, was she?
It's pretty route one what she's done.
if someone told me I look tired, I just delete them from my contacts list.
But you said that about if someone says you look well, you don't like that
Yeah.
either.
Oh yeah, the list is long, darling.
I'd like there was subterfuge involved in her plugging her concealer. I mean, it's Does she look after her kids at 4 o'clock in the morning, like she said? I don't know. Surely she's got nannies, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Ghost parents, as I like to call them.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Text the show on 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
I think a story from this week that we definitely must discuss, because I'm going to say you guys have got a dating history between you, haven't you?
Well, not with each other.
No, but you've both lived lives and been on dates. But have any of them?
This is a thought. This was coming out here. This is so you haven't got a dating history.
I've not as much. I don't speak about exes and stuff. I haven't got tons.
When you
of
say you
them.
don't speak about them.
But you
No, I
have
just
got them.
haven't really. But anyway. I mean, I've dated, but none of them have gone this
You know, we've had
badly.
Stony Ground.
Yeah.
I've got Orcs Ground.
Yeah, I feel like I've gone for Orcs Ground, you're right. None of my dates have ever gone this bad that
Okay.
it's gone legal. Brandon
you're in a minority in this
from
room.
30... have you heard about this dude from Austin, Texas?
Brandon
that is
Vesmar, yeah.
suing
Brandon
the
Vesmar.
lady that he went on a
It's
date
on the
with.
BBC television news, this story.
Brandon from America. Who knew?
And he's upset because she texted during the film Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And
My
she-
sympathies are with her.
She spoiled his
Tell you what,
date.
he'd make a good Brandon Vesmar.
Huh?
Oh, no, sorry. No, got that completely. Oh, I've never
No,
been.
he understood the gist.
I know,
I think
it's
it's
supposed to
completely
be just
wrong.
the keys.
No.
No, but your perfectionism is why I love you, but also, don't worry about
That
it.
spoilt my day.
Anyway, he said it was kind of a first date from hell. About 15 minutes into the movie, his date started texting, and then he said, "This is like one of my biggest pet peeves." Which is interesting, because one of my biggest pet peeves is people talking about their pet peeves.
Yeah.
And
My biggest
using
pet
this
peeve is
like-
murder. Hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
Mine
You've
is-
got a real rule about that, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's one of your pet hates, right? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's suing her.
He's suing her.
it is brilliant that he's suing her. Come
You like
on.
that?
Oh, come on. I mean,
He said she activated her phone. He sounds interesting.
I know,
I mean,
but-
she activated her phone almost 10 to 20 times within 15 minutes.
Love that.
That is a lot. I think she was clearly on the WhatsApp. That's what these young people do. I've seen these two on the WhatsApp. Sometimes they're just going at it like the clappers over a brunch, Frank.
I know.
And I say, who are you talking to?
But on a first date,
Jermaine about putting the
it
bins
is
out.
It's bad, isn't it? If you
It is
went
bad.
out, I mean, for a start off, I'd never take anyone to the cinema on a first date. Isn't the first
Yeah,
date to
no.
have a conversation
No
and find
chatting.
out what they're like?
Anyone who offered that got to go.
Yeah.
No. I want to find out, the important things on a first date. I always do a pub quiz.
Good.
If, and if they're not, if I don't think they're, into the general knowledge, they're out.
Right.
That was how it
Well,
was for
Frank,
me.
I seem to remember you had a specific scene in Laurel and Hardy you would show them
That's
to see
true.
if they laughed. As a film, sorry, to see if they laughed at the right bit. Was that right?
Well, if they laughed at all. Some of them didn't laugh at all.
Oh, dear.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I also once finished with someone because they called Fever Pitch a novel.
I remember that.
It's clearly non-fiction.
I remember that casualty.
But there's all sorts of... me and Kath had a very difficult moment when she didn't know who George Galloway was.
Right.
That was touch and go. Yeah. So there's all sorts of reasons, but you don't find out about people at all. If you take them to, what do you find out if you take them to the cinema? I suppose you find out if they texted a film.
Yeah.
Text during a
Well,
film.
he texted her afterwards, and she texted back, "Are you serious?" This is John McEnroe approach.
That's a bit early on the first date. Yeah.
Well, she said her friend needed her. That was not her friend. That was what we call an emergency text. All women do
Yeah,
it when you want to
totally.
get out of a date. I've got to go. My friend needs me.
Yeah.
I know what word he was not using after that date.
What?
Fontextic.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, Nikki from Berkshire has been in touch to say, Frank, my husband broke up with someone because she only had one jacket.
Wow,
Great reason.
No, that is a good reason, though, because if you're on the other side of that dinner table and you're seeing the same jacket, you want a bit of squad rotation for what your visuals are.
Well,
don't you?
Al, in the
Good
first
for
few
him.
weeks, you're really hyper aware of the clothing. And I do note the clothing choices. I'm like, oh, he's worn that jacket again.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, but it'd take a while to realise they only had one jacket, wouldn't it?
Yeah, depending on the weather scenarios.
Still, it's, I'll tell you what, I think odd reasons for dumping someone would be a good texting. Let's do it, 8, 12, 15.
Yeah. What about when that guy said to me, talking about my sister, he said, your sister's really zanny?
Oh.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Well, I know someone who dumped somebody because when he got into bed with her, he used to put his hands together as if, you know, when people do that diving into the water hands?
Yes.
Put his hand together and dive into bed like that. And she'd have
What
to go.
about, Frank, what about that man who texted me and he was away? I think we'd been on one day and then he texted and said, I'd like to see you when you get back. I'm in Miami. Cool beans.
Cool beans.
Well, my
Cool
reaction,
beans.
yeah. Cool beans.
Oh, I never even heard that before.
That's the phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, but what if you then found out years later that that's a delicacy in Miami?
Yeah, he was just having dinner.
They don't actually really warm them up. They just
Oh.
and then he
These
could
we
have been
have
the
loved.
one. Yeah, he could have been the
Do
one.
you think that was do you think he started that phrase with just restaurant reviews?
Yeah, I think he
said,
did, yeah.
In Miami, cool beans. People went, that sounds good. I'm going to start saying that.
Very, very minimalist restaurant reviews.
Cool beans.
Yeah, I mean Stuttgart hot spinach. Oh man. Well, I'm with Brandon Vesma.
No,
I
you're
am.
not. I knew
am.
you would be, but you're
Al,
not.
These-
Guess what? Me too.
You're not.
I'm with Brandon and Frank.
Yeah, because people need to. We can try all the subtlety with people, and they're still. Manners is deteriorating. It's the first day, even if she's hating it, she should have left if she's hating it. Not, as
She
he
did,
said,
actually.
the cinema asked people not to text in the cinema.
Well-
She's breaking every rule.
She left.
Every rule, not the murder one.
I mean,
Not yet.
I was, in fact, Frank, I think it might have been when we went to see Spectre together. There was some youths texting. I don't know if you're aware, but I find it so unacceptable.
Is it one of your biggest pet peeves?
Yes. It's my pet hate.
It's this sort of. I tell you what I don't like, and that's when I hear people say, nobody tells me what to do.
Yeah.
And we've fought against that in the S&M community. In fact, we've really championed and being told what to do in no uncertain terms. And once you get used to it, it's lovely. And I wish that... You know what I mean? People say, no, you know, I do what I like if I want to text. What about an I?
Yeah.
What about others? So no.
Looking forward to brunch today, everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
946, Frank, says, I want to dump someone because he got really frustrated, overly so, when we missed the tube in London. There was another one in 3 minutes. Nice bloke, other than the tube rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would put you off, because
Oh,
I'd fast
definitely.
forward to... They say that's what, you know, that's how you see into the soul of someone, is how they react. in
Well, she
those
didn't
moments.
want to be going out with someone who couldn't wait 3 minutes.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
867. Do you remember Nikki in Berkshire, whose partner dumped someone for wearing the same jacket?
Oh, yeah.
She's also had a reason when she dumped someone. She says, me again, I broke up with someone because as we were walking past a skip, he said, skip to my left, and did a little skip.
Now, you see, I'd have been all right with that.
I feel like I might have done stuff like that on dates.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's my best stuff on a first date.
Yeah. I mean, if that is a sackable offence, I think we should take this opportunity to thank my wife for her long-term patience
Yeah.
with me.
That reminds me
Forbearance.
of when I flew to Venice and the pilot said, if you look at the left, you can see Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And I sang I suppose I've been going out with her a few months. I sang Pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side.
Well,
That's really-
I really like that. I would have found that quite alluring.
Later on in the holiday, I sang Who Let the Doge Out.
That
When
less
we're
so,
in Venice.
but I like your work. 890, Frank. Good morning, Frank and team. I joke that when we split up, my next first date, will be to an Italian restaurant where I'll choose my date's dish, spaghetti bolognese, to see how they deal with it.
Oh, we know that happened to me when I went back to I talked about this recently when I got the bay leaf.
Oh,
right,
yes.
It's the ultimate test.
No, but table manners are very important to me. I know it's shallow, but I can't. If someone holds knife like pen, it's a major problem.
See, my thing is
Strange
the...
intonation there.
No, I liked it. I think maybe we should adopt that as a regular thing on the show.
Major problem.
For me, of course, it's that using the fork as if it's the front of a Wild West train, which I've talked about before. You push the food onto it and then...
I'm with 890.
Honestly, I couldn't live with somebody who did that.
Well, I couldn't live with someone who holds knife like pen.
No.
It's not their fault, but just
No.
don't do it.
Well, 890 continues that they hate noisy eaters, and I'm the same. If somebody was to eat like, even that has made me feel a bit sick.
Well, I
Just
knew
reenacting
a guy in Halesowen, where I used to work, whose wife wore industrial ear protectors at the at the table because she couldn't stand the noise that he made when he ate. It's a different world.
It's a solve, though, isn't it? It's a solve.
What about this? I went out with a nurse, and every time I said something funny, you can imagine how often that was. She used to punch me on the shoulder and say, "You're mad, you are."
Oh no!
And looking back now, in the style of Brandon Vesma, I'm thinking I could have sued her both for assault.
Yeah.
For punching me in the shoulder. And I think rumours of my madness, could always cost you work.
Oh yeah.
That's probably why I didn't get Peaky Blinders.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
581 Fee has texted in. I was on a first date which was going well until he spread some of his lasagna onto a bit of bread and butter. And then, the final insult, he loaded up the last mouthful and ate it off his knife. Just no. She adds in caps.
Those are things, both of which I would have done. No, really, lasagna sandwiches are lovely. In fact, I call them lasagnes.
Nice.
I'm okay with that in a sort of paysan French supper way. Scoop up the sauce. It's fine.
Scoop up the sauce, that's my motto. I'm slightly interested in this Guardians of the Galaxy. It's passed me by as a franchise.
You
You're
can
joking.
catch volume 1.
Oh, but it's all green monsters doing
No,
silly
it
things.
sounds like I could. From what I could tell, there was some sort of anthropomorphic raccoon with an automatic weapon. That'll do me. I mean, that's me hooked. So I'm going to check that out. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
When I saw
I like the
Guardians...
way you didn't even bother asking me, because you knew what the answer would be.
When I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, the name, I thought it was about the quality control department at the Mars Chocolate Factory.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then it occurred to me that Galaxy, Mars, Milky Way, Starburst. Is there a Starburst?
There is.
Yeah. Oh,
What's the connection? What's the connection between chocolate and outer space?
You're right.
Is it that they're saying the taste is out of this world? Is that what they're driving at?
Is it?
Don't know. I'm just asking.
saying it in a very subtle way, indeed.
Yeah.
I once interviewed Alice Cooper. I had a strange moment in the middle of it when
I remember seeing that one,
experienced agape, and I felt tremendous love for him. I never know where it came from. I mean, really, I was moved. I wanted to just... I don't mean a physical love. I mean from one human being to another.
So, Agape this morning on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, it was such a weird experience.
You know, I respect you a lot, Frank. I love
Thank you,
the
Alan.
fact that you not only experienced that, but you then tell people that you experienced it. I think a lot of people would just, push that down.
Yeah,
and
they'd let it go.
Yeah.
No, I think
good that you
it
tell
bears
people that.
examination. I think most things bear examination.
Did you
Anyway,
act on the agape?
wait, no, it would have been odd.
Okay.
If I'd have suddenly told him I loved him in the middle of the... And I could have honestly said that I loved him at that for a period of about a minute and a half in that. I mean, truly loved him as one. It's what I imagine heaven will be like. That's how we'll feel about each other.
Oh.
Anyway, so he was telling
on
me...
Absolute Radio.
He went to see The Exorcist with Linda Blair,
Oh, that's
who was
cool.
in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And someone behind them was talking, and Linda Blair turned around and went, "Shut up!" Absolutely terrified them. And it's like that someone's at the cinema with Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper isn't the most scary person.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But I was once in a house party, and...
With Noel?
well, I was there... No, he wasn't there. I was there with...
Crinkly Bottom.
I was there with David Baddiel, and because me and Dave was there, someone thought it was funny to put on 3 lines.
Right.
And then because me and Dave was there, they really, really cranked it up. So it was and it was so loud, the neighbours came round and knocked on the door, and me and Dave went to the door. And there, they looked a little bit startled. Oh, how often do you get the chance to do something like that? 8, 12, 15.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
One of the many text-ins. Excuse me a second.
Frog in the
there we
throat.
go.
Toad in the Toad Hall, as I call it.
One of the many text-ins that we've got running today is where is Wind in the Willows set?
Well, Toad Hall in
Do you
particular.
remember chucking that one out there for them to text in?
Yes, because there's a
12,
Toad
15.
Hall estate in the British Virgin Islands. I can't believe that it was set out there.
Anyway.
So English.
We've had an
Plenty of
email.
badgers out there.
We've had an email which I like because there's an abbreviation. It says Wind in the Willows setting, but then the email begins WITW. Wind in the Willows. It's good, that, isn't it?
I get it.
It's
For
good
what it's
PR
worth.
for rats,
FWIW.
Is it?
Well, rats get quite a bad sort of press, generally.
Oh, people that love
he
rats
was quite a
love
sympathetic
rats.
character, I seem to recall,
Yeah.
in Toad of Toad Hall.
Anyway.
Wind in the Willows, not Toad of Toad Hall.
Well, WITW is set at Cookham Dean on the River Thames. I played the role of Toad 75 times for Jake's Ladder Theatre Company in 2002. That's not me speaking.
No, that's lovely.
Steve.
Okay. One wonders. Oh, no, I've got it.
Yeah, it's catching, isn't it? This frog in the
One
throat.
wonders if he's Toad-like in appearance, Steve. I mean, how do
He
you
could
get
just
that
be a
job?
character actor. He could be like,
Yeah,
what's
but
his
you know,
name? What's his name?
Eric,
Actor.
your former Labour MP, Eric Heffer, that's who you really want
yes.
as Toad. Got that sort of amphibian look about him.
We were talking about sort of first date deal breakers, that kind of thing. 775, morning all. On my first date with my now partner, he told me he was a qualified radiographer. This turned out to be a lie. He was in his final year of studying to be a radiographer. I still pull him up on that. What I failed to tell him was I didn't know what a radiographer was. I had to look it up when I got home. Love the show, Lucy.
It's good that it wasn't a deal breaker.
Yeah, but your current honesty speaks well of you.
Well, I went out on a first date once. I think we went to Belgo's.
Oh, that must have been the 90s.
Yeah, probably. And it was the 90s, actually. And the waiter came out, young bloke, and said, "Wow, Frank Skinner, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, all right." So I'm with this lovely woman.
I thought you were going to say sauce or something.
And
With this sort.
he said, I'm a performer myself. And I said, "Yeah, okay." I was working on my material to impress this lady. And he said, "Yeah, I'm an actor, but I write stuff as well." I said, "Okay, great." Anyway, so we'd like to order, and he went, "Sure, what are you going for, Steve?" And did like a sort of Humphrey Bogart thing. And then when he came out to bring the starters, or was it drinks first? He said, "Well, now, and here's the drink, and I'm bringing the drinks for you." And he did every course he did with a different voice.
Oh.
And when he'd brought us the final, the dessert, I saw him leaving. He put a coat on, he left. I thought, thank goodness for that. Anyway, he came back with a dog-eared manuscript, and it was a script that he'd written, which he gave to us. So the whole thing was a pitch. It was a first date.
Oh, my
Come
goodness.
on, you can't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, but it gave you something to talk about with the date, should the conversation have dried up, which it so often can on these first encounters.
Oh, how dare you? No, it was a lovely first date apart from that, as I recall.
Okay.
Anyway, now I've got a question I want to ask you. This week
Sure.
at the BAFTAs,
Yeah.
and I think it'd be nice to have one conversation about the BAFTAs this week that didn't involve cleavage. Let's actually talk
I know what you
about
mean.
what the awards were for, guys. I mean, come on! And the best mini-series was National Treasure,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yes.
I was in, if you remember,
Of course
Do
you
remember
were.
that? Yeah.
as himself.
Yes.
Oh, you should have got up on stage, Frank.
No, well, it did occur to me, can I now legitimately, can I call myself BAFTA award-winning actor Frank Skinner?
Well, I think we
Wow.
know you will.
That's a good question.
I think you are.
Could you say BAFTA award-winning actor when it's as himself? No acting required.
Al, let me just say, if it had
Well,
been best director or best performance, etc., etc., but it was the overall drama got
Yeah.
it. I think that's okay.
Because everything I see now, when people are introduced, whatever the programme is, they always say award-winning chef,
Yeah.
award-winning food writer, award-winning, whatever it is, they've always won an award. I mean, every chip shop you go in now has got
Yeah,
a
yeah.
certificate to say it's won an award. And I don't think there's a people in the whole of Britain who produce homemade pork pies who haven't won an award for them.
But Frank, that does mean that first round X Factor contestant can say award winning if it's won an audience award once. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
But does that an award?
No, if
if they
X
take
Factor
part
has
in the
won
show,
something.
an X Factor has won an award.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
So by participating,
oh,
I feel
yeah.
like
you
I've
can't take
really-
all the glory. I think.
Oh,
Oh, Frank, I'm really sorry. I've rained on your chips.
I think you have a little bit, yeah. Still,
It's interesting
I'll
metaphor.
try anything.
Yeah.
Prefer vinegar. but,
Okay,
you know.
so I'm not a BAFTA award-winning actor.
Oh, but you are
I
to
was-
me, Frank.
Oh, okay. Well, look,
You're
that's the
very
end of the
accomplished
show.
in other areas. Very accomplished in
I
other
don't know
areas.
in other areas. You won't give me the acting thing because you went to drama school. Anyway, thank you for listening. Coming up next is Sarah Champion. Champione, champione, ole, ole. Sorry. And I haven't sung that for a few years. And then it was the championship, not obviously the... But even so, it was a lovely day out, QPR. Thanks so much for listening this morning, and God bless you all. Bring on the feathers.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.